Today, Silk Song is coming out on September 4th, and so is ChillPoint, because that's a Thursday.
Yeah.
This is ChillPoint.
You're right.
We moved ChillPoint so it would come exact, except we did it like 10 years ago, or whatever. 7 years
10?
ago? I don't know.
I don't think it was totally 10, but we definitely did. I remember this. The ChillPoint used to be on Mondays.
Yep. And then it was on Fridays for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, different times. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to ChillPoint, show where we talk about video game news. Just myself and Heather here today. Mm-hmm. Beej is on assignment, which is what we're going to call it.
Is that what we do now? This is, Good Morning Moonbase has only been like 2 episodes and an episode 0.
Yeah.
Fall, and it's already creeping into everybody else's vernacular.
I like that. Yeah, Beej is not here today, but that's okay because we have other stuff to talk about.
He will fill you in on his own things the next time you see him. I don't think that is just a thing he's really good at doing.
Yeah, I don't think that's not a promise. That just will happen.
It's just how life is.
Whether you want it or not.
I mean, I assume you want that. That's why you show up to the show, right? Just that you want us to talk to you and talk about gaming news. It's the point of the show.
I hope. Otherwise, yeah, you're in the wrong place. But yes, today, this is ChillPoint, show where we talk about the week's video game news and the episode of ChillPoint that just went up last day, which is a way that people often phrase that.
We also did a bonus reactions
Yes.
with me and Graham because that was happening at the same time as our stream schedule, and we didn't want to interfere with our new streams so close to just starting them.
We were like, okay, we could do it live if we take like half an hour out of this stream and an hour out of this stream.
Yeah, it just seems kind of rude.
Nah.
So what I'm saying, Gamescom is you should do your stuff during like the Friday time when we do ChillPoint would just be the best time to do that stuff.
Yeah, and I mean,
if we're under consideration, we don't have to be made an exception. I understand, but
I was gonna say, like, to be fair to Gamescom, we did recently change our schedule, so maybe they were like,
maybe they didn't know.
Maybe they were like, we'll do it this time because we know Loading Ready Run is available at this time. And then we changed the schedule and they're like, oh, damn those guys.
Yeah, so we understand. It's hard, but...
But yeah, check that video out if you haven't. That's up on the LRRVG YouTube channel. Heather and Graham are reacting in real time to the silliness that's going on.
Really weird, because we did it in Studio A. It's really weird to watch chat moving for a completely different stream that's happening.
Oh, right, because Is This Your Card was happening at the same time.
Yeah.
But was it, so this was the Gamescom
it's like the opening night.
ceremonies, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, Gamescom is in Germany, but it was also hosted by Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Like, is there nobody in Europe that can host these things?
I think there probably were many better choices.
Anyway,
it just felt like the Game Awards without awards,
or
the summer thing,
summer game.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. If you want to see their takes on the things that came out, check that out.
Maybe watch it on double speed. I
mean, I will say,
I think Graham and I did a great job. That presentation was pretty mid for me.
I will say I was, that was on Tuesday, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I was saying to Graham, like, do you think we do a ChillPoint like roundup? And he was like, no. Nothing that's anything worth it, which is fair. But what actually was...
what did we talk about
what did we talk about in ChillPoint?
I kind of remember, but I don't remember the order things happened in anymore.
For one thing, talked about the First Descendant. And, not about the First Descendant. Talked about
ads on TikTok.
Yeah, an ad for the First Descendant on that showed up on TikTok with a guy by the name of Daniel the Demon. One of these like, I'm playing the game, and so there's like his face cam at the top, and then the gameplay at the bottom, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Very typical kind of advertisement thing, except he never played the game. And in fact, and it turns out that apparently what happened is they took, it's like the gameplay and then video from another, like a legitimate video that he
a reaction
released.
video he did. Yeah.
And then AI being used to change what he says so that it lines up with the video, the gameplay video.
Yeah.
Which is very dystopian. And now, of course,
Who wrote this story, by the way?
Nelson did this story.
Ah, okay.
And it's very this is actually, this is a little bit similar to the League of Legends thing, where they go no, it wasn't like it. They're like, no, it wasn't us. We had a
contracted out to a
no. We had a competition. I think what it is they were like, we had a competition for users to submit ad things, and TikTok's copyright system didn't catch it. So it's really not, our fault. Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, they have, as part of a marketing campaign for season 3, we recently ran a creative challenge program for TikTok creators, which allows creators to voluntarily submit their content to be used as advertising materials. All submitted videos...
God, why would you do that?
All submitted videos were verified through TikTok's system to check copyright violations before they were approved as advertising content. However, we have become aware of cases where the circumstances surrounding the production of certain submitted videos appears inappropriate, which is a great way of wording that. Thus, we are conducting a thorough joint investigation with TikTok to determine the facts. So even by their own, by best case scenario, they were running a contest for people to or they're running a thing for people to voluntarily submit their content to be used as advertising materials, presumably for free. Which is a little scummy to begin with.
Yeah.
And it's people, I saw a lot of people, people from the community around this game, which, it isn't the most popular game. It's got its community isn't that big, but there's a bunch of people in the, obviously being very upset about this in the community, and also being it's sure there aren't massive, but there are people in the community who are streamers who would be more than happy to do an ad for you.
Well, yeah.
And actually legitimately do an ad for you.
Who would probably, you could just talk to.
Yeah, and so anyway, obviously that kind of stuff. I've been seeing ads for, various AI type ads for, with celebrity people. I even saw one probably a year ago or something with Elon Musk was I've invented this new algorithm where people can, for people to trade stocks and make thousands of dollars, and I am releasing it to you. And it's and it was done an interview, he was on a news show, right? But both him and, Elon Musk, you could almost imagine him doing it, but it wasn't him.
I can imagine him saying those words. I can't imagine him making anything good.
But the idea of these the idea of these AI ads just taking anybody, like, and somebody like us who there's a lot of content of our faces talking and doing stuff.
And that's scummy, but then you also there's just the idea that people are going to use your voice in phone calls to scam people and other things too. This is not good technology. This is not technology that is being used for good things, and it certainly has a high cost attached to it that is not great.
My favorite, actually, literally, I think the same scam as the Elon Musk one I saw, and this is recent, I saw this last week, was AI Mark Carney, so the current Prime Minister of Canada, and it was like, we've the Canadian financial sector. We've been working with the Canadian financial sector and developed this AI stock trading program, and now we're releasing it so that all Canadians can. It's like somehow the idea, I guess, is that this is going to be the Canadian government made this AI stock trading program as like a social benefit to Canadians so that Canadians can earn money. It's like, I don't think that's a real thing. Also, this is AI Mark Carney. It's very, very concerning.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So how many episodes of, what's the percentage of Black Mirror is just reality now?
Yeah, not,
is it just...
some of it, definitely. Yeah. It's definitely in the, torment nexus.
Are we done, a sci-fi actually just, possibilities now, or is it just happening now?
Yeah.
Because I need some of it to stop.
So yes, if you see any videos of anybody from Loading Ready Run endorsing The Last Descendant, or The First Descendant,
or the last one, the first one, or even the middle one, it doesn't really matter.
Probably
not us.
Yeah. Also, also the original, it's a bad sign that, so Nelson wrote this story, and the original, so the story starts, so it's like ads for The First Descendants started showing up last weekend on TikTok. Nelson's original version of this was ads for a new game called The First Descendant. The First Descendant has been out for a year and a half.
Oh.
Or something like that.
Okay.
But it's not a good sign that Nelson thought it was a new game.
I mean,
if this is the first time, if the first time you hear about a game is when it is on ChillPoint, it's probably not a good sign.
I mean, yeah, that's probably true. I don't want to be like, oh, you haven't heard of this game and therefore that's not a good sign, because
there's lots of games.
There's lots of games that are really popular that I don't even pay attention to or not. One time I went and I watched. I was watching a VOD and the person at the end had thrown to me in a raid, and this was a while ago. I'm not going to name them, but I thought it was really cute because they were like, oh, hey, Heather's online and she's playing Fire Emblem. She likes a lot of really indie niche games. And they clearly hadn't heard of Fire Emblem. And I'm like, that's fine. But I thought it was really cute.
Little niche game called Fire Emblem.
That they didn't do whatever. And I'm like, yeah, because not everything is on everybody's radar all the time. There's too much to do that with.
But yeah, by and large, unless you have very funny patch notes, you don't want people's first hearing about you being a ChillPoint story, because it's often not, we don't write a lot of stories where everything's great.
Yeah. It's
although we do sometimes.
It's like when we watch the Last Week Tonight or Late Night or the comedy news shows. And they bring up Canada and there's this part of you that goes, hey, cool, Canada. Oh, wait, what did we do?
Yeah. It's like, this is not going to be good, is it?
Wait, no, I take that back.
Hey, we're on TV. Oh, no.
Somebody remembers we exist. Oh, no. Not like that. Don't perceive me.
And then the next story we talked about was Cameron wrote a story about the PlayStation price hike. So the PlayStation.
And this one is in the States.
Yes. So the PlayStation, all the different editions are going up by $50 each.
Yeah, for challenging conditions environmentally or something.
Yes. The
big wording of we don't want to say
challenging economic conditions that have affected many global businesses.
Tariffs.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I mean, there was a time, not that long ago, I feel like, that it was expected that, like, mid-cycle there would be a price cut.
Yeah.
On a console, right?
Yeah.
Maybe even like a new cheaper version of the console, like a lighter, smaller one.
Yeah, you might get like a slim or whatever, and it'll be, and the older version will get like a little bit of a price cut because people want to get rid of that version.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
But no. So yeah,
I remember those times.
They bumped it up by $50, which, you know, it is what it is, but it's unfortunate. Yeah. I mean,
they're not the only ones to actually have had this price hike.
Nintendo has upped everything except the Switch 2, which everyone thought was too expensive anyway.
Yeah, I think they're trying to keep the Switch 2 down for at least the first while.
They sort of are bringing everything up to where the Switch 2 is.
From what I've heard from other people is what they think might happen is that after we get through Christmas, if they can't keep the Switch 2 price down, they might raise it. But like it feels like they're only pricing everything else up because they're trying to keep that one lower.
Right.
And I mean, I don't think Nintendo's actually said that themselves. They probably won't. But yeah, they did end up raising their prices in the States and also in Canada. And I think, did Xbox as well? I thought Xbox also had a price hike, but I could be wrong about that. I pay way less attention to them than I do the other two.
I mean, I think...
But like, I kind of feel like...
I think Xbox pays less attention to Xbox, too.
Yeah, that's true, too. But yeah.
Yeah, shout out. So, like I said, Cameron wrote this story and also was the one, you know, a couple people appreciated some of the graphical...
the Challenger.
Cover, yeah, when talking about challenging economic times.
Yeah, that was
Challenger.
Fun.
Cam, those were, Cam called those out in the story as graphics he wanted. You know, I think we've talked about this before, but you know, when people write the stories, often, and I mean, it's great for me. Like I'm doing all the graphics, and so often people will put in, especially if they have like a very clear idea of what they want for the story. Sometimes, you know, they'll, you know, in a big story, only a couple of graphics will be called out, and then I'll sort of fill in the rest. Sometimes there'll be none. Sometimes there'll be a lot. But it's always very fun when people call out graphics that I didn't, you know, I mean, Cameron will often like, he'll call it, you know, he'll be like this thing, and then he'll call out like, he will want like, you know, the Wikipedia picture of this, like, you know, the famous painting of you know, whatever, something that has a historical relevance to what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, like the painting of like Icarus or something.
Yeah. It's why sometimes when it's like I see a picture I particularly like, and it's not a story that Beach has written, because I can tell which pictures Beach has usually picked. I'll be like, did you pick this or did someone else pick this? Because this was like, you know, a good choice.
Beach will often call out the pictures.
I know sometimes he'll be like, I want a picture that looks like this, Paul. Can you find one or make one? Or
sometimes, well, Beach will often also call out the pictures because he'll be often referencing memes that I don't know. And so he'll call out the pictures. So I'm like, oh, that's what that is. Anyway, speaking of memes, Beej wrote a story about that Skibidi has been added to the Cambridge Dictionary.
Yeah, and
when I marked this as a story, like in the document, I even like highlighted. I was like, I don't know if this is actually a video game story, but it's kind of adjacent.
You can argue it.
Which he did.
The description, or the definition, I should say, to me says it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, which
is fine.
It's an interesting idea. Like, and I would imagine that academics in the dictionary world probably have a bit of a debate about this. Like, is there a thing? Is it worth putting a word in the dictionary if the definition is it has no definition?
Yep.
Which is kind of an interesting concept. Like, theoretically, that's the definition of any random series of letters.
It's just a word that people are using now. A generation is using because it's part of a thing that they enjoyed, and we all do that. Like, words and even comedic bits and memes, the whole reason they get repeated is because they show up in a piece of media that you like or a thing that you are, and then you reference it, and then we all have those conversations where the walls fell, and that's just what we do. That's part of language and human interaction. Although it's not a word I intend to use because it's not, I don't know. It doesn't bug me. It's not like a word that when I hear that I'm like, ugh, gross. It's just not one that I think resonates with me to use, which is fine. It doesn't need to. And I mean,
Socratic Method in the chat is saying literally has no definition, which is not true. It does.
No, it has a definition.
It has a definition. There's a specific word for words that can mean themselves and the opposite of themselves. Which is not that actually that uncommon. There are a fair number of words that do that.
Like if you listen to the story, BG even ends it with sick,
which can mean
is also the same kind of definition of a thing. It can mean
a bunch of different things.
Bad and cool and
ancient,
those things. And it is a slang in the sense of how it was being used there. So,
but Anyway, it's I am reminded of the. When during the presidential election, when somebody posted like Kamala Harris is brat. I forget what pop star posted that or something.
Right. And then they had to have people explaining what that meant.
Yeah. There was like on CNN, they had to have like a linguistics expert come in and explain what the brat means. And it's just like generally positive, I guess.
Yeah,
it does have a meaning, but it is kind of hard to define.
I will say there was one comment on this episode where a person did rate their dictionaries.
That's true.
And
honestly, I'm not going to say
that was pretty funny to me.
I'm not going to say whether how.
Oh no,
I don't have any particular stake in whether the Cambridge Dictionary is considered to be a good dictionary.
I'm not about to make a tier list.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty funny to watch somebody, and I mean funny in a very affectionate way there, that you took the time out of your day to be like, hey, this is what I like. Here's my rating system. I actually think that was pretty cool.
And I mean, and clearly, like, somebody who's done the research, like, I bow to their judgment, right? Like, I haven't done the research. I don't know.
Oh, I bow to no one.
Oh, well, there you go.
Curtsy.
Yeah, there you go. And speaking of something that has kind of a weird definition, maybe this follows. I don't know. Anyway, Wu Chang.
Graham wrote this one.
Yes, Graham wrote this one. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, or Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. I don't know.
I've been saying Wu Chang.
I don't know actually.
But I don't actually know that you've brought it up.
Anyway, they released a patch that changed a bunch of stuff in a way that was surprising. Mm-hmm. They changed a bunch of the characters so that, or a bunch of the bosses, so that they can no longer be killed. They just kind of get knocked out.
Mm-hmm. Or they act like this was a test the whole time.
Or they're like, yes,
kind of thing.
Good job.
Which is...
He's just... I like some, so I saw a comments of his like, what is he, a Pokemon? He's just sleeping now.
Oh, that was faint.
Right.
In fact, in black and white, because a lot of them, I think in black and white they black out and white out, depending on the version that you have. It's really a weird thing.
Just got signed out of my document.
Oh, it's that time. If you had that on your bingo card for watching ChillPoint, Paul has gotten signed out. That might be the free space, though. I don't know at this point.
Now, interestingly, we're broadcasting ChillPoint an hour earlier now than we were before. So it's not like it happens at a specific time.
No, it just knows you're here.
Yeah.
Might be more personal.
Anyway, so they changed it, and then the big thing though, because theoretically that like doesn't actually affect the gameplay. It's just sort of an odd thing, and it's sort of apparently it kind of affects the story because what is changes it's because
so it's one of the big things that got mentioned was that there's like a field that's really challenging for people who
that's
aggressive
the thing
anymore.
Yeah, so that's the part that actually so there's like the stuff the knockout thing doesn't actually change the gameplay. This in level 4, I think it is, or area 4, they actually did the thing where a bunch of the guys that you fight are no longer aggressive.
Yeah.
And they're not actually and so there's just like nothing to do in that level anymore. You just kind of walk through it.
And that's a weird choice.
Yeah. Maybe why not, if the objection was people, why not change it to different characters? Like, oh, they're bandits instead of...
It also sounded like they read lines and stuff, or
they replaced they added,
so like they went to quite a bit of effort to
they added some new lines with the people being like that like, oh, good job, we fought, or it looks like they're just sleeping or something.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, like I don't personally have a stake in that, in the sense of like I've played it and therefore I'm like, yeah, it definitely undercuts the story, all the changes they've made and these things, but it does seem odd.
And it's and one aspect of this that I do find kind of fascinating as somebody from somebody from North America or whatever, is that this, at least from what we can gather, this is not something that was like, I've seen people being like, it's censorship from the CCP, from the Chinese government. And from what I can gather, that is not the case. This is vocal members of the actual player base, or not necessarily even the player base, but the user base. Whether the people are actually people who play the game or whether they're just like angry because it exists. That's another thing. But the idea that and this has happened. This happens like occasionally. We see other stories about this. Is that that the Chinese public are very protective of their of their government and of their stuff. I feel like probably maybe more so than Western countries. So a lot of the time, like there'll be a big sort of. A lot of the time there'll be kind of like a backlash against. Sometimes there'll be a backlash against the game or a piece of media, and it won't actually be like the government that's censoring it. It's actually be the individual people are just don't like it or don't or want to, and they have very strong opinions about it and I feel like it's a slightly culturally different way of reacting to that kind of stuff, which I find very interesting. But anyway, it's the game is still only like mixed on Steam, so I don't know. We'll see. But I've seen a lot of people say that, like, if you're into the Souls-like kind of thing, it's a good game. Like, it's a fun game to play. Although, and aside from a bunch of the stuff that they added in this update, apart from this aspect, were really needed things. Like, apparently there were too many landmines.
Yeah, I mean, those, I find those, easier to understand because the other issues are like, it's a history I don't understand. It's a culture I'm not super into. I view things through a Western lens, so I don't know how all that works. But like when you get to the landmine portion, it's like, oh, we put fewer of those in here, or we did whatever with them. And like, oh, okay, there's at least a design prospect I can kind of get.
Yeah, and I mean, and as King Commenter says, I guess, yeah, it's like, you set a game during the Civil War or whatever. That can definitely be, people might sort of come out of the woodwork I mean, I remember when Far Cry 5 came out, and Far Cry 5 is set in America, which most of the other Far Cry games are not. And it's set in sort of rural America, and you're fighting sort of a sort of a right-wing cult leader guy. And it came out right as during like the first Trump administration, like 2016 or something.
Right. Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, geez, you guys," and Ubisoft is a French company, in Montreal, and I mean they've got studios all over the place, but and so people were like, "Oh, they're really stepping in it here," and Ubisoft was like, "We started planning and making this game like 4 years ago."
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like mildly kind of controversial, like kind of a interesting, like, ooh, they're kind of edgy, not talking about current events.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's hard to do a video game with current events because it takes so long to make them now.
Yeah.
Well, a video game of like AAA quality. God, there's got to be better words for this. A thing that involves like a lot of people is going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And planning stuff out and trying to get your basics of story are going to have been done years beforehand. It's why video games with memes in them have a tendency to feel not really weird and out of date immediately, right?
Right. Well, that was I remember we were talking about like when the Minecraft movie came out. Nelson did a story about it, and the fact that the memes in the Minecraft movie were actually like relatively fresh memes, which considering, how long a movie takes to make and post-production and stuff is pretty impressive. Anyway. And then finally, the coming up, which was just not even, I love that the coming up wasn't even an actual story. It was the lack of a story. That Wired did an article, is Roblox getting worse?
Well, is it like, I didn't really read the article, but my understanding was that it was supposed to be like Roblox was trying to do certain things and it just made things worse instead of better like they were supposed to. Like,
but in the context for what and actually as a interesting sort of behind the scenes thing. So Cameron wrote the story about the PlayStation price hike. He was originally planning on writing a story about Roblox, but he was like, we've already we've covered that ground pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing we sort of knew is happening. The thing that everyone says is happening. Is like, it was just sort of a bummer story that didn't actually have any useful information in it. So he decided not to do that one. So we ended up, but yeah, they ended up being like just, and I mean, I don't know who wrote the coming up. I think Beej probably wrote it, or maybe Graham did or somebody. But anyway, But I felt that, in my heart as well. Just like you see that headline, like, is Roblox getting worse? And you're just like,
I don't think I've ever seen
I don't want to read this.
a headline with Roblox in it where I've been like, yeah, I want to spend time learning more about how awful this place is on top of the awful I already know.
It's a new and exciting and different article.
I've barely ever heard anything positive about it. And when I say positive about it, I've heard a couple of people talk about how their kids play and certain things that they've had to like
there was like
do.
There was like some interesting stuff
Yeah.
about like in-game Roblox protests happening, like while the like anti-ICE protests were happening in LA. There was like in-game Roblox protests. That was kind of a cool idea. But anyway.
I think we did talk. Was it Walmart and IKEA were trying to open up stores in Roblox?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder how those are going.
It's just like when I think of positive news for Roblox, and I'm like, well, that's the least creepy one I can think of, and it's still not. It doesn't feel great.
No. All right. Well, let's go on and talk about some other stuff. Maybe some stuff that feels a little better. How about a new video game studio it's going to make rhythm games? It's opened.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to be a downer about it, but rhythm games are fairly niche, and people who make games that are really good that aren't niche get shut down all the time. Will they be okay?
Well, they've got a pretty good pedigree.
Oh, okay.
This new studio
I'll judge that.
is called Red Octane.
Okay.
And that might sound familiar because Red Octane is the company that made Guitar Hero.
But you said this was a new studio. Guitar Hero was like a bazillion years old.
Yeah. And then it got bought by Activision. Red Octane got bought by Activision in 2010 and then got shut down.
Okay. And
then a bunch of other and then they kept making Guitar Hero stuff. And then Neversoft kept making Guitar Hero stuff also, but then a bunch of people from there have now left, and as well as the studio head from Vicarious Visions and president of operations at Blizzard have left and formed Red Octane again.
Oh, okay. So the name just wasn't in use.
I guess. And they're going to be making rhythm game stuff. And in fact, they have Charles and Kai Huang, who are the original founders of the original Red Octane.
Oh, okay.
As a special advisory board. So that seems cool. I'm assuming they can't literally make
have they said,
Guitar Hero because it is owned by somebody else. But.
Have they said what they intend to make or what they're working on?
They said that they will be working on. They said they're going to be making rhythm games.
Okay.
They said they're bringing in emerging development talent, and community leaders from across today's rhythm gaming space.
Okay.
And rhythm games are more than just about gameplay. They're about feel, flow, and connection to the music and to each other. Red Octane Games is our way of giving back to a genre that means so much to us while pushing it forward in new and exciting directions.
I hope they mean that because, and I don't mean this as a diss, because Guitar Hero, Rock Band, those games were really cool, but they're like one kind of rhythm game.
Right.
And they're also the kind that, especially on Rhythm Cafe, get demonetized so badly and sometimes just blocked out, right, because of the music. And
right, those games were just based on licensed music.
Yeah, because they're super licensed music. That makes those games really expensive to make as well. And harder to make because of all of the deals and the things you have to get going on. So it's like, good for them. Would be interested to see what they do, but if they're saying, hey, we're going to make rhythm games again, and all they make is one kind of thing. I'm a little disappointed in that idea.
Now, I will say, this seems very positive. I will say the one aspect of it that has me slightly concerned is this new studio is being formed within a larger company, i.e. Embracer.
Oh, no.
So Red Octane Games is a new studio within Embracer Free Mode, which is apparently what Embracer is called now. Or at least that part of Embracer.
Well, Red Octane, it's nice to know you for a couple of years. I hope you enjoy your time. Get out while you can. We made fun of Embracer a lot for a bunch of the embracing they did, the hugging they did of acquiring a bunch of companies, and then what happened? They shed a lot of them. They got rid of many of them. Some of them did not survive. A bunch of stuff that people were very excited about and hopeful for disappeared forever. Well, maybe not forever, but no.
I'm seeing some speculation that people are like, because Harmonix, who is owned by Epic, have they've been having some success with their Fortnite rhythm stuff.
Yeah, it's not bad. Their UI is to get to it is monstrous, but
and so there's some speculation that Embracer's seeing that and being like, ooh, we need to get into the rhythm thing too. But anyway.
Again, if you're going to say you're making rhythm games and all you're making is Guitar Hero, I don't agree with your definition of rhythm games. There's more. There's so much more.
Open your mind to the rhythm.
Do some really cool stuff.
Bongos.
I mean, what's the group? Is it Harmonix that did Drop Mix and they've done a bunch of different things that have not gone super well over time because again it's just
I believe Harmonix did do Drop Mix.
Interesting stuff, but it involves a lot of licensing and then getting people to buy in certain things. And again, rhythm games are kind of some of them are a lot on the niche side. Some of them are more open. Guitar Hero was one of those ones that a lot of people got into because it was more about playing instruments and that kind of thing. But it's still it's a reaction time based kind of thing. It could be really hard for some people to play, and some people are interested in that thing. So it's not your base of users is not necessarily large.
Yeah, it's true, yes.
Which isn't a bad thing, but it doesn't help if you have to pay for a lot of licensed music.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, especially if you're making the kind of game, the sort of Rock Band, Guitar Hero, like you said, those kinds of games, I feel like you are half a video game studio and half a music licensing I would expect that fully half your manpower is devoted to negotiations and licensing stuff.
Well, and if I tell
you, as opposed to actually making a game.
If I say Guitar Hero or Drop Mix, or I think the other one was Fuser, the things you're going to remember of that are the plastic instruments, the peripherals, the thing that it did.
Right.
If I say Rhythm Heaven, anyone who's played Rhythm Heaven will think of half a dozen characters that were just for that game alone.
Right, yeah.
Parts of the franchise that...
And is the music for Rhythm Heaven original music?
It's all original stuff.
So we kind of knew that this was coming, but Microsoft has announced and put a date on their sort of Steam OS competitor,
the Rogue
Steam Deck.
Ally.
Yeah.
ROG.
ROG.
Right.
As
ROG.
in Republic of Gamers. It's right.
I forgot they have that dumb branding.
That's what the ROG stands for.
No, I'm going to call them ROG.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it sounds like a caveman name.
Yeah. ROG handheld.
ROG game now.
Oh, that's the Krog and Torg's buddy who's just a gamer.
He doesn't get out of the cave much.
No. But yeah, so what's kind of interesting about this, so they're making a Steam Deck kind of thing. You can, see it here, basically the same basic idea as a Stream Deck or Steam Deck. I have to be careful. But rather than being like Steam Deck's whole thing is, it is a Steam Deck. It just runs, it runs sort of this stripped down version of Steam, on, and has like on a Linux thing. And so games in order to run on it, games have to run within the Steam compatibility thing, which is apparently very good, and a lot of games run on it. But this is actually running a customized stripped down version of Windows, which is interesting. So it's got full Windows compatibility. Theoretically, apparently it's stripped down, so it will be more you aren't running, so it'll be more performant for video games.
So they're not going to put Copilot on it.
I hope not. Yeah, it runs a version of Windows 11 Home that's redesigned to be controller first. To be honest, a stripped down version of Windows 11 Home that is designed to play video games would actually be kind of interesting to release for desktop computers. But anyway, but that means that it can run Epic Game Store, it can run Microsoft Store, it can run the Steam Store, it can run anything that can run on Windows, it can run, as opposed to the sort of narrow compatibility of the Steam Deck. So that's pretty cool. Obviously the downside is, or part of the whole thing with the Steam Deck is that they've got the integration where they sort of vet the games and say this runs well, this doesn't run well.
Well, and I've heard back and forth on whether or not that, this is Steam Deck compatible sometimes is as compatible as they say it is, that kind of thing.
I mean, there's Steam Deck, it works, and then there's optimized for. There's red, yellow, or green, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, Steam Deck out of the box, I think is, if you view it that way, then yeah, it's probably nice for some people to have the Windows machine if that's how they prefer to do things. My understanding with the Steam Deck though was if you really wanted to get whatever about it, you could get other things running on it.
You could hack stuff, yeah.
And you could hack stuff pretty easily, and that was kind of part of the point of it, in terms for the people who want to do that kind of thing. If the ROG is meant for those kinds of people, I don't think they're gonna care about it that much, but I guess it depends on how easy this is to find, because I feel like the Steam Deck does really well for the user base that wants that.
Yeah.
Right? But they don't sell it in stores or in places where someone's going to walk by and be like, I will buy that thing.
Yeah.
Because I want a Switch thing, but not the Switch.
Yeah. I don't know. As someone who doesn't really play on the go, maybe I'm not correct on this, but I have a suspicion that the market for the Steam Deck or something like a Steam Deck is maybe not as big as they think it is. That people who it's a cool device, and it's super neat and it's very useful to have, but it's I think if you've got a Steam Deck, maybe you don't need the Windows, the number.
Oh, you probably wouldn't get the
you wouldn't
the
get
Windows
both,
one.
and there aren't a lot of people who want a Steam Deck that didn't get one, and are now going to get this. It feels like it's a market that is pretty quickly going to get saturated. But maybe I don't know. But
I mean, maybe I honestly think it depends on the market that you're going for. If they put this as a Windows machine in stores that people can see. And it does, let's say it actually just, it works nicely so that we don't have to have that argument. I could see there being people who would be more interested in it's like getting an iPad versus getting like a laptop or an actual computer, right?
Yeah.
There are people who would be like, oh, cool, I want this thing. It has kind of its walled garden, whatever. It works and it does the things that I want it to do. I'm good with that. Or versus a person who might really want to try to put 500 games on it that are from the PS1 era. I just think those are kind of different sections of people.
They have not released the pricing on this yet.
Oh, well, that's not helpful.
So
have they released anything?
They've released like
battery life.
They've they've released the specs, but have not released the price. So we don't quite know how it's going to go. They also said, was talking about the optimization stuff. They have said Microsoft is promising software optimizations like the SteamOS stuff, which I like this. Microsoft will label games that will work well with the ROG Xbox Ally with either handheld optimized or mostly compatible.
Oh, I don't like the term mostly compatible.
But yeah. Actually, and as another note, so it's the branding on this, and this is, we're trying, like I sort of, I said, Xbox doesn't really care about Xbox. And the branding on this is the ROG Xbox Ally. Like this thing is branded Xbox, but it does not play Xbox games. It plays Windows games.
Right.
But
Xbox has been putting most of its games on Windows, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. But Microsoft is really pushing this idea that an Xbox isn't a thing. Xbox is like gaming on Windows.
I was waiting for you to be like, Xbox isn't a thing. It's a state of being. And
I mean, that is kind of what they're doing. Like they're like, the Xbox isn't like a specific box. It's like, because like the Xbox, there's like Xbox on Windows, Xbox on the thing.
Yeah,
now there's Xbox this. They're really trying to push that idea.
It's kind of like
you can get Xbox stuff on PlayStation.
Yeah, and I get the marketing. I think it's not terrible in the sense of like they want to put their games on lots of devices, so they're trying to lean away from the device itself, but I don't know.
So anyway, we'll see. The specs, they're going to have two versions, both with, they've got 1080p screens. The low end one has got a Ryzen Z2A chip and a 4-core Zen 2 based CPU. So this is all AMD based stuff also.
Does it say its battery life?
They've said the size of they've said that they've got battery, like it says, so it's like the bigger one comes with an 80 watt hour battery and the other one comes with a 60 watt hour, but they don't say how long that actually gets you in terms
right, because it's probably gonna depend on how resource heavy the game you're playing is.
Yeah. So, I can imagine certain games, my my computer can get pretty toasty playing certain games. I can imagine that this, having this in your hand. I mean, I'm sure the Steam Deck also gets that. There are certain games that probably just burn your battery, and certain games that you can play for.
Yeah, generally, like I said, it depends on the resource intensiveness. Like if you're gonna play an older game or like maybe a 2D platformer or something, a smaller indie title, perhaps your battery life will probably go a lot longer than if you're playing the latest Indiana Jones game or something, right?
Yeah. There's actually two different stories this week about first-person shooter games deciding to have less quirky skin options.
Okay.
or characters.
Okay.
So
they've taken out all the clowns?
There's an interview with the Overwatch 2, with the lead concept artist for Overwatch 2, Daryl Tan. He's saying something that they're saying that we believe fans can make we've been prioritizing characters that fans can make a deeper connection to. And that means we're moving away from oddball characters like Wrecking Ball, who's a hamster that pilots a giant rolling ball.
That sounds good though.
But they want to make want to make Overwatch heroes aspirational in some sense. They're aspirational in their physique and their expertise of what they do. They're just really cool looking heroes that we can look up to. People have kind of interpreted that.
They're 8 feet tall, Paul, and I'm like under 6.
People have been, because this idea that like, and you know, the majority of Overwatch characters that have, like new Overwatch characters that have been released in the past while have been, you know, basically people, you know, different types of people from different places.
I want them to have like different types of people and like body shapes and like all those kinds of things. But when you start saying things like, oh, aspirational, like in terms of their physique, that's not... Yeah. That doesn't suggest that you're going to give me different cool body types of real people.
Well, no, because I mean, they're all kind of, but they're like, you know, they're like in this story they talks about, it's like, this is a game whose like, poster child for a long time was a talking gorilla. With like Winston is a gorilla with like little spectacles. And he's the one who like talks to you throughout the beginning of the game.
And that's not aspirational?
I don't know.
Most of the games I really like to play that are games where I'm other animals, Paul.
I know.
And like I get really excited when I get to be a duck or a goose.
Like that, I agree. I agree. And a lot of other and so yeah. Anyway, and sort of related to this, people talk, you know, there has been people have noticed that there is as well as like the characters tend to be humans and attractive humans. People have also noticed that like, you know, the cosmetics and new skins and stuff are not evenly distributed. You know, the hamster doesn't get a lot of different new skins, whereas Mercy and Juno and a bunch of other, you know, a bunch of these sort of more popular, more attractive characters tend to get the cool skins because those tend to sell better, I guess, is the implication.
I mean, I can get behind the idea of like, if you have certain characters that are more popular, you're probably going to give them more skins because you're selling those, or you're trying to get people to, you know, like
the attractive characters get the cool skins.
I get that,
which
but
then
like
it's sort of a self-fulfilling thing.
It is always kind of disappointing when if your favorite character is the one of the least popular ones, that they're not getting things.
The attractive characters get the cool skins, and so people want to get those skins, and you go, well, people like the skins for the attractive character. Like, it's sort of a self-perpetuating thing.
Honestly, I think they're absolutely cowards for not wanting to put the hamster into the sexy bathing suits, and maybe like also like an astronaut costume. I feel like a hamster in like a little astronaut outfit would be really cute.
Mm-hmm. I like it. And the hamster ball could be like one of those, like a pod. They could like change it so it's like a shuttle pod.
Yeah.
Anyway, hamster not, please. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, disappointing. So the other, and then there's also a story. So Battlefield 6, big deal. They just did a couple of their what do they call it? The sort of
like their tests.
beta test weekends.
Yeah.
So you can't play it now. Like they sort of made it available for a weekend.
Yeah, they were doing their server tests and whatnot.
But it, got tons and tons and tons of people playing it. People stoked about it. So there's been a lot of info about it. And one of the things that they've talked about is, and I think we talked about this last week, where they've been, throwing a little bit of shade on we want this to be grounded in reality. We want to have, show really cool, exciting, whatever they're called, operators, really, but, we want to have it grounded in reality. We don't want to have, I think they said we don't want to have Nicki Minaj shouldn't be in there with a gun and stuff, which is something that Call of Duty currently has. And Call of Duty also has Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
That kind of stuff, which we did a story about.
I'm gonna ruin your day, Battlefield man, but all of the first-person shooters run together to me, and so as far as I was concerned, Beavis and Butthead were potentially just in your game.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm not part of your player base, so you don't have to worry about that. But
so probably not coincidentally, Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
Oh yeah, they showed that off during
is coming out.
Gamescom
is coming out very soon, or if not immediately. But and they were talking about that they're going to tone down the sillier skins. They're saying we always are trying to...
in the Call of Duty 7?
Yeah.
The game that they showed off that had a bunch of weird psychedelic stuff happening, they want to make sure the skins are toned down?
Well, this is the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, we always try to make sure that we touch the widest audience. We had the pleasure of working in Call of Duty now for almost 20 years, and we're constantly looking at a way to push into different audiences and fans. And that's what you saw with that and the sillier skins. The decision to include celebrities and media properties beyond video games, the likes of Nicki Minaj, Snoop Dogg, Lionel Messi, Beavis and Butthead, all appearing in Call of Duty matches. He admits that these kind of skins may not be every fan's favorite, saying we're going to try to calibrate as we move forward, and we take that feedback seriously. But we're trying to make all fans feel represented in the game, and doing that is a tight balance. And yeah, they're saying, so yeah, they're going to try to keep things a little bit more realistic. Now, that is somewhat undercut by, as you say, the trailer being kind of psychedelic and fancy. Also, this is the Vault Edition where you can get a robot. So they've kind of already fallen off the wagon a bit.
I can kind of get behind the idea of maybe we don't want to put a bunch of celebrities in our game.
Yeah.
Because again, that's going to end up being a bit of a money thing. You can call it realism if you want, but to me, when someone says we really want to make a good job at representing all of our players, taking stuff out doesn't do that.
What I would like is,
I guess they're not removing anything if they haven't put it in the game, but
when we were playing the Game of Life games.
Oh yeah.
There's the skins that only the person who has the skin actually sees.
Yeah.
So you should be able to install the Beavis and Butthead thing that just makes all the other guys Beavis and Butthead. Or makes them all, or you can look like Nicki Minaj in your game, but if other people look at you, they will just see a regular person. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. The sort of chipping back and forth between Call of Duty and Battlefield is starting to heat up a little bit. We'll see how that goes.
Well, I mean, they also have to compete with, what is it? Escape from Tarkov has its 1.0 finally coming out.
Right, right.
Which according to James, because he's the only person I know who pays attention to that, you get to actually escape.
Yeah. Apparently they're putting the story in it.
Yeah.
That like for the last 10 years or however long Escape from Tarkov has existed, you've basically been doing like the side quests. So apparently you'll actually be able to escape from Tarkov, which is very exciting.
Guess what? The end of the year is coming, so all the big games are coming. So choose your game, I guess.
Speaking of cool, cool new skins in games, it's Sonic and Pac-Man's 30th anniversary, possibly. I don't know. Probably more than that for Pac-Man. Sonic and Pac-Man are going to have crossover DLC in each other. So Sonic Racing Cross Worlds.
And, that makes sense.
And Pac-Man World 2 Repack.
Oh, right. I forgot they were... That's like a remaster or...
I'm assuming it is a remaster, yeah.
Just Repack.
Pac-Man World 2 Repack. PAC.
Okay. Yeah. The Sonic Racing makes sense because that's got like a lot of Sega characters that they've been showing off.
So there's going to be Pac-Man and the Ghosts are going to be in there, as well as a Pac-Man themed track. And then they're going to have some Sonic collaboration stages for the Pac-Man thing, and as well as a Sonic costume for Pac-Man. I'll show you a bit of
Pac-Man's in a Sonic outfit.
I'll show you a bit of the trailer. Okay. So we got ourselves a Sonic.
Yeah, the racing game. That hasn't released yet, but should be soon. Well, it's nice to know that these two are
the Hungry
friends.
Hero.
I don't know. I don't.
So here's him in his car.
Okay.
And you get a special Pac-Man level, which is kind of cool.
That looks pretty fun.
And then here's Pac-Man.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, that looked like
yeah, just so you can.
He's right in the middle of the screen, so it's gonna be. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So it's Pac-Man like wearing a Sonic hat.
It's kind of how Kirby.
Yeah.
Where it gets things a little bit. It's okay.
I will say, I feel like Pac-Man having having Sonic's super speed is kind of the Ghost's like worst nightmare. Like that's terrible for the Ghosts. Look, they're helping each other. So anyway.
Weird. Okay, it's a DLC pack thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's this one's they're coming out right across from each other, and then the DLC packs are coming in later.
Okay. Neat. Are the newer Pac-Man games fun? I've only ever played the
I have never played the 3D Pac-Man.
There's the first one, or the Miss Pac-Man, or the whatever.
There's a surprisingly deep like Pac-Man, like there's been like Pac-Man like full on, like sort of Mario 64 style like 3D adventure games.
Yeah, I've never tried one.
I never actually played them either.
And I just don't. Bandai Namco makes games that I'm like, that seems like you can just afford to keep making games whether people like them or not, and I just don't know what to think.
Does anybody play Pac-Man?
I mean, I'm sure people are playing them. I don't know if they're interesting or fun or whatever. Because
it's funny that like it's so like divorced from the actual like the sort of classic Pac-Man in terms of gameplay, right? Like there's almost no connection between like this sort of 3D game and the original Pac-Man game that people probably think of when they think of Pac-Man. Just kind of odd, but whatever.
Okay. Well, I hope the two of you have a long-lasting friendship, and or not.
More.
I'm not really invested, but it looked like Sonic gave Pac-Man a gift, and it was his birthday. So
yeah,
I assume that you want to be.
They're old friends.
If you're fairly friendly.
So this story actually kind of touches on one of the stories that we did on the episode of ChillPoint, the Wu Chang story, in the sense that so Steam has made a change that they are now by default showing review scores divided up by language, like they're doing language specific. So now if you're in Canada or North America and you go to a Steam page for a game, it will say like English review scores, like is what you'll get when it shows like whatever, mostly positive or mixed or whatever.
Okay.
Now, and I mean, probably Wu Chang wasn't necessarily the impetus for it, but I can imagine that it might be one of those things where there have been various things where games, either the game is a slightly different edition or has a real backlash or a different impact in different countries. Like sometimes like in like Germany, games will have different editions for the German audience or different editions and in different places they'll have different editions, or sometimes they'll just be and so there'll be like a bunch of review bombing, but it will be only from like a specific country or specific people in a particular language. And so I think that might be part of it, is to try to sort of separate that out a little bit. Or people complaining about translation issues or whatever. But I thought it was actually as an interesting, as a sort of an indicative of this thing. So this is the Wu Chang Fallen Feathers Steam page. And you can see it is getting mixed, but it says, English reviews is mixed. 68% positive. If we go down to the review section, you can see language breakdown now. And so this is interesting. So you can see in English, 68% of the reviews are positive. Simplified Chinese, 45%. So like we would, what we've talked about, we would expect that the reviews in Chinese would be lower because that's the people who were complaining about it before.
Well, the group of people complaining about it would have been within that section.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting, so simplified is 45%, traditional Chinese is 59%. I don't know what the difference of that is in the context of like different areas of China or
because there's
different types of players.
There's a few different versions of. There's a few different languages within China, and
but
I can never remember what they all are.
What's really interesting though is apparently Russian 77%, German 84%. Germans really like this game. And Russians really like this game too. So if you are German and you go to this page, it'll say mostly positive as a reviews, which is kind of interesting. So maybe it's got a particularly good German translation. I don't know. Or whether it's a particular, because of course this is by language, not by country or like region. Obviously, languages correspond to regions generally, but not specifically.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who live in other countries who speak
like,
or write,
or in like English is just grouped together as English. That is everything from North America to Europe to Australia to wherever.
Yeah.
So obviously these are just sort of general categories, but it is an interesting, I can imagine if those numbers go really skewed, that could be a very interesting point of data. If it's like 20% one place and 85% somewhere else, then it's like, okay, what is happening here? Either, did we mess up the translation? Did something happen? Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you would ideally find that ideally, I say ideally because people who leave reviews do not always leave well reviews. Ideally, you would hope that anyone who's left a review has said that the translation on this is bad, or
said why that they're reviewing it bad.
Why they don't like it, as opposed to game sucks, that kind of thing. And I mean, at the very least, if I'm reading up on reviews, I do want to be able to say, just show me the English reviews, because those are the only ones I'm going to understand.
Right, that's true.
Not that they'll necessarily be helpful.
No,
because I don't.
Yeah, you have to.
I don't really like an aggregate score is not necessarily an unuseful tool, but like in terms of me as a person going to like look at a game, just seeing, this game got a 9 out of 10. Great, it must be good. Doesn't tell me anything about the game or if I'll like it, right? Like that's why you read the reviews.
Yeah, and it's like.
Or you find people that you can trust to read their reviews, or either have similar preferences to you or whatever when it comes to those things.
And it's like when somebody marks it negatively, actually seeing that and seeing like why they marked it negatively, whether sometimes it'll be like they have like whatever 500 hours in the game, thumbs down. And it's like, I like this game, but then like they changed it and messed it up or something, or whatever. Certain things happen. But actually, speaking of Sega people being added to other games, Shinobi Art of Vengeance is a game that's going to be, I believe it's going to be coming out soon. Shinobi, I think this is sort of a not a remake, but like a reboot of old franchise.
So a ninja game, I take it.
Yeah, it's sort of a.
Do they all also get Sonic hoodies? Is that?
No, but.
That would be kind of funny.
Not getting Sonic hoodies, but they are. But Dr. Eggman is being added as a.
Is he a ninja now?
As a new, I guess, a boss.
Do they have a picture of a design or anything?
This is what they've got. This is the promo thing. It's like Shinobi Art of Vengeance, Dr. Eggman, and two guest villains.
I mean, that looks like that's supposed to be him.
I'm assuming that, yeah. My concern is that
guest villains.
My concern is that Dr. Eggman's experience making big robot contraptions, fighting a cartoon hedgehog, and kidnapping friendly woodland creatures and putting them in
the roboticizer
robotic things, might not have prepared him for fighting a ninja that slices things up in like a spray of blood everywhere. I just feel like he might be a little out of his depth.
It's just the term guest villain really gets me. It's like it has that very like, ooh, cartoon crossover. You should come to my town and villain it up for a while kind of feel, or today your guest villain will be so and so. It's kind of
like I just
sounds so silly.
I feel like Dr. Eggman is going to be get a little bit shell shocked the first time he sees what the shinobi is doing to his minions. Just sprays of blood everywhere. Like, what? There were animals inside those. What did you do?
Yeah. Yeah. It's an odd choice, but okay. Nice to know he's getting out there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, if Sonic is going to go on
Sonic's clearly busy hanging out with Pac-Man. Dr. Eggman's just like, well, I'm bored. I guess I'll go hang out with some ninjas. I don't know. Yeah, I suppose. Turns out Dr. Eggman's secretly an otaku and...
Yeah. Skate is going to be, which I think is was an existing game, but it's a new game. It's also a new game. It's going to be coming into early access near the end of the summer. It's a skateboarding game.
Okay, good. If it's just called Skate, it could have been figure skating.
That's true. No, it's called Skate. And in their official blog, The Grind, they are talking about how it's going to be... it's going to be always online because it's going to be like you're in like a living city. You're skating around and things will be changing. Some people are a little bit grumpy about that.
Okay,
understandably.
That seems like a.
But they're also going to have seasons and seasonal content. The game world will feature in-game events and this is the important bit, the soundtrack of the game apparently will be updated seasonally.
Okay.
Now,
wait, is this okay? Are they just trying to do a skateboarding version of Animal Crossing? Will they have some grooving 3 a.m. tunes that?
Maybe, but if you know the stuff with Tony Hawk, the soundtrack in skateboarding games can be pretty pivotal to the whole thing.
Sure.
And so they're talking about they're going to be sort of adding to the soundtrack. But as this article points out, basically one of the issues is that they do often have real music. They'll have music from sort of punk acts or whatever. Music from actual released music, not original
licensed
music. Yeah, licensed music. And this gives them kind of an out in the sense of once the licensing expires, they sort of are deliberately going to be shuffling around the soundtrack.
Right. Okay.
Which could be interesting. Yeah. But yes, they have confirmed that it will require a permanent online connection. It won't be playable offline, citing the game's evolving city as the reason for this. The simple answer, addressing whether the game supports offline play, the simple answer is no. The game and the citizens are designed to be living, breathing, massively multiplayer skateboarding sandbox that will be always online, always evolving.
There are some words in there that make me wonder about what kind of tech they intend to try to use with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, always online is, especially for something that's just a skateboarding game.
This is definitely one of those.
That doesn't seem like something that really needs to always be online even for what they're saying.
I feel like this is one of those games that the Stop Killing Games petition is really, really talking about. These things where it's you got this always online, blah, blah, blah. But, how long are you going to keep those servers running? And if they go offline, do you have any provisions for at some point in the future sort of locking it and being this is the end, this is what the city looks like, it's going to stop evolving, now you can just play it. Are they going to do that? Probably not.
Seems unlikely.
You may have heard this a couple years ago now. I think we may have talked about it on ChillPoint, but there was a bit of consternation that David Hayter, who voiced voiced Snake in all of the Metal Gear Solid games up until the most recent one, didn't. Kiefer Sutherland voiced Snake in Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain.
Okay.
And the fans weren't that happy about that. Obviously, David Hayter was not that happy about it. People were asking him about it, and he's like, "They didn't tell me anything."
Yeah, generally when you don't hire somebody to keep doing work, you.
So he was kind of grumpy about it, as you might expect.
Yeah.
And if you've seen David, like, the funny thing is David Hayter looks like Solid, like he's a voice actor. He doesn't need to, but he does look basically like Solid Snake. So people have asked him at conventions and stuff, say, like, have you played the games? Have you played Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain? And he's saying, no. He's saying, I refuse to play the game, saying that it would be just like 60 hours of humiliation that he didn't, hearing somebody else do the voice that he should have done. 10 years later now, from when Phantom Pain came out, which, ouch. There's some Phantom Pain. There's some Phantom Pain for you right there. He's saying, I didn't want to play the game because I figured it would hurt my feelings. And then, 10 years later, when 10 years went by, and I was like, the hell with my feelings. What do I care? And then he continued, I'm a screenwriter, so I get fired for a living. Like, I literally eventually get fired from every single gig that I've got. I guess that makes, eventually when you write a screenplay, then they...
It's generally just referred to as your job is done.
Yeah. And he's saying, I'm not a child. I was like, stop being a baby and play the game. So I played it. It's amazing. He says Phantom Pain has the best gameplay in the series. So yeah, he's saying the fact you can go in the same scenario each time and the soldiers do the same thing, but you can take different routes and different strategies. It was badass, and as far as I'm concerned, all is forgiven. And apparently he met up with Kiefer Sutherland. He just like happened to run into him a while ago at like a party or something, and they kind of made up, or they not made up, because I don't think it's not like Kiefer Sutherland stole the job from him deliberately.
Yeah, and I don't think they were probably having an actual
he's like, he's a cool dude. I don't actually have any beef with him. But yeah, I do. I just love the I played it, and it's a really good game. To be honest, I quite like the Metal Gear Solid games. I haven't played Ground Zeroes, but this kind of makes me kind of want to play it.
Well, get some time built out on your video game dance card, and maybe you can find a place for it.
Oh, that one's always tough, yeah. But all right, so this is a story that I personally found kind of fascinating. We talked about Battlefield 6 thing. So there's a streamer, VTube type streamer, I guess, PNG tube streamer. Anyway, there's a who posted a Battlefield 6 highlight reel.
Okay.
And the streamer's name is Riley CS, and she posted this highlight reel, and she was like, "This is like most locked in cat girl or something," was the title, because that's her avatar.
Oh, okay, sure,
cat
yeah.
girl. And it's like a minute long highlight reel of like just some like amazing shots, just doing the like flicking 180 degrees and shooting a guy immediately, or tracking people, some shots. And almost immediately there was like this huge backlash. People were just like, you're clearly using aim bots. You're clearly cheating. Nobody plays like this. Why would you post this?
Okay.
And it went sort of viral. And because also, of course, we talked about this, I think last week, that, this week that like the Battlefield 6 they're like anti-cheating measures have gotten a little bit of stuff because there's like conflicts and different things. So they're like, clearly those anti-cheating measures aren't working. Check out what this person is doing. And so it went like back and forth, and people, raging at this streamer. And apparently they even got like banned for, got like a 1-day Twitch ban because of people reporting her account and stuff. It turns out there's a community online that has now gotten a lot more interest called the FPS aim trainer community. Basically, these are people who just practice aiming in first-person shooter games. Mm-hmm. Specifically aiming, not necessarily like all the other things that go into playing a first-person shooter, sort of environmental awareness or how to move around, what the map is, and all that kind of stuff. But specifically, really fast aiming. They have, there's like trainer programs where it just like pops up things that you aim at, or things that you track and stuff, and they share each other's scores and stuff. And it turns out this player, Riley CS, she is a pretty prominent person in this community, or well-known person in this community, and is just really good at aiming. Also, this is a 1-minute like highlight reel.
Yeah, it's a highlight reel. It's not like it's
out of like hours of stream footage, right? And so a lot of pro players have kind of come to her defense and being like she's really good, but like maybe you guys just need to get good. Like maybe Battlefield players aren't used to seeing pro level play or like high level play. But then and then people are also, well, like, if she's so good, like nobody would be this good. Like, why doesn't she join a pro team or something, right?
Because sometimes people don't want to do pro, even if they're good at a thing.
Well, and also it's like saying that like the dude perfect guys should join a basketball team, right? It's like they have the clips of them like throwing a basketball across the huge thing and getting it. But that's after they do it 500 times.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I don't, and there's arguments back and forth about like, oh, well, they could be using a really sophisticated cheat system that like makes it, slight variations in the aiming to make it so it looks like they're not cheating. And it's like, sure, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
A sophisticated enough cheat system is indistinguishable from not cheating, I guess.
But seriously, also, like, okay, just because you're really good at a thing doesn't mean that's what you want to like pursue as like a career or a job, right, or any of those things. Sometimes, I know this is hard to say because people who make videos and things often make everything into a video. Sometimes people just have hobbies.
Yeah.
Or they just want to stream it. They enjoy that aspect. It's like doing a pro team is a completely different
and it's like
thing.
I know I think about this like I don't know anything about first person shooter skill stuff. Like that I don't have basis of that. But I do know a lot about video editing. And I know what you can, if you take a huge chunk of thing, edit it down to a minute of just all the good stuff. And like people say, like if you watch her streams, she does this like flick and hit somebody a bunch of times and there's nobody there or misses the guy.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't even actually do that well like in the game. But because she's like and like in the game in the aim trainer community, being accused of using an aimbot is like a sign of skill. Like that's like a positive thing, because that means that people are, they don't think that you have that amazing skill.
It's like, have you never seen a movie and the movie's trailer? Like,
yeah. My favorite version of the editing thing is, I remember Penn and Teller talking about how video editing completely ruins magic, like stage magic. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, like, as in the very basic level, if you say pick a card, any card, have them pick a card, and then they put it into the deck, and then you pull out a card and say, is this your card? You have a 1 in 52 chance of getting it right.
Yeah.
If you just do that trick a whole bunch of times and only use the cuts that you got it right, it's the perfect card trick.
Yeah.
That nobody will ever figure out how you did it. Because you didn't do any tricks. You just edited it. Anyway. I'll be interested to see if there's any sort of definitive stuff comes out about this. But it's one of the things, like, you can't really prove, at a certain level, you can't prove that unless their cheat program like comes up on the screen. Like, you can't prove that somebody's cheating or somebody's not cheating if just by looking at their stuff at this either they're doing it, either this person can do it perfectly, like, is this skilled, or they're using a very sophisticated cheating thing that is indistinguishable from being that skilled, and there isn't really any way to tell the difference.
Yeah, it's a highlight reel, and the chances that somebody is cheating to make a good highlight reel out of a bazillion hours of stuff, that's not really how people cheat.
Anyway,
yeah.
And finally, we talked about that skateboarding game that's coming out.
Yeah.
But skateboarding on skateboards is boring.
Well, it's boring. What is more fascinating, Paul?
What is better than skateboarding on skateboards? How about skateboarding?
Oh, is this that train game?
On trains.
Okay, I do admit that looks pretty fun.
Woohoo! I mean, I have no idea how this game is actually played, because this looks impossible, but impossible to actually like understand what's happening. But it looks cool.
I'm pretty sure, Paul, this is a trailer, so some of these bits are probably cut up and put together. So yeah. I don't think you have to do that in the air all the time like that.
But presumably some of this is gameplay. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway.
Yeah, Densha. I think Densha is train in Japanese.
That makes sense. Each of the game's 50+ stages will challenge you in a variety of wild ways as you master breakneck. I mean, to be honest, it kind of looks like what like, a new like Sonic game should look like. That like super speed gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of fun.
The director previously directed Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and the soundtrack, the guy who did the soundtrack previously did Sonic Mania, Streets of Rage 4, and the TMNT Shredder's Revenge thing. So
there was a Sentai Power Rangers thing that they did a train thing with.
Right.
I watched some of it because some of the
they had to use like their train tickets to activate their thing.
In the fighting they could what did they call it? They did like a crossing pass or some sort of thing with each other, where they would change what you could basically exchange your weapons with each other or powers or something. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
The robot design of the trains coming together was pretty meh. But the show itself was, the parts that I'd seen, because I don't think I watched all the way through, were still pretty fun.
Anyway, I think that is it for news.
Oh, we don't want to talk about Silk Song.
Oh, right. I mean, but like, what is the, like, it's, it's coming out September 4th.
Well, that Jason Schreier article came out that was just like,
right.
Hey, guess what?
That's true. That's true.
Things were just cool. They had a fun time. They ignored the internet. I don't know, this magical time thing happened, but they didn't pay attention to any of you.
Which I have to say, if they were indeed ignoring the internet, then either one of them or somebody affiliated with the company must have been paying a little, like, there was definitely some like trolling that happened on their like Twitter account.
There was a thing that said that every now and then, like, family or friends would show them like some of the funniest comments or something.
Yeah,
because
like
it
they
still
were
sounds
like,
pretty good.
Like a couple months ago, they were like deliberately posting a couple of like troll things on their
yeah,
on their Twitter
but
account.
I think for the majority of the time they were just like, it's not like they were hanging out in comment sections or reading fans or that kind of thing. They were working on a game that they were enjoying making. And I'm like, that's just nice. It's just nice to hear a group be like, we had money and we just made thing.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's a certain aspect of like, yes, all we need is to give every developer $200 million and everything will be solved.
I mean, it would be really nice if everybody at Lure could just get paid enough money where we were just like, hey, we're just making the stuff that we care about. Like, we're still mostly making the stuff that we care about. It's not like we're not, but it's less of that, like, having to think about what your finances are hitting up and stuff would be nice.
Yeah. Then we just, like, go away and not make anything for 7 years. It'll be great.
Well, no, we'd be working on
just work on stuff, but not actually release anything.
Yeah. Well, until it's ready.
Also, I do like that the subreddit, which obviously now that we now know they have no connection with it whatsoever, coined the term skong, as in short for Silk Song, which the best part about that is if you search for skong, the result is a bunch of people being like, what the hell does skong mean? Why do people keep saying skong?
I don't know why it needed shortening, but I mean, sure. Like, it's not really a Reddit I ever hung out in. It's just a subreddit that I would hear every now and then. It would be like, I'm sure they're being perfectly normal about what's going on. I know Graham was looking at it because Graham and I were talking on the way to work about Silk Song, and he went to look at the subreddit because he's like, I wonder how they're reacting, and it was just like positivity, which was really cool. Yeah.
So yeah, hashtag Skongtember.
I'm excited to finally play. I like Hornet. Hornet's one of my faves.
Also,
I hope Zote comes back.
Skong gender is a gender that is related to the upcoming video game Silk Song. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I looked for Skong and it says people also search for Kluk, Skreeg, Honk.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
All right. Neat.
So yeah, it seems it reminds me a little bit of like you hear those stories of like somebody making like a tweet or a post that they don't realize is controversial, and then they like get on a plane and then the thing
disappears.
The thing explodes while they're on the plane, and then they just land, and there's 5,000 messages in their inbox. They're like, "What happened?"
But the post blows up, not the plane.
It feels like, but the Silksong people feel a little bit like they're just like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this Silksong thing. It'll be great," and then they just go away, and then everyone is losing their minds for 7 years.
Well,
and then they're like, "Hey, we did the thing we said we were gonna." What happened?
The one other thing that got brought up was there were a number of times where they said, "Oh, we think we can get it done this year,"
right?
And it didn't. And like as a person who has to work in this office, who's constantly like, "Okay, what do we do? What did we get all these parts together and stuff?" There's definitely you can have all the plans you want. You can even think, "Hey, this will probably work. This will be fine. When I look at the on paper, this is doable." And then somehow you get to 2 years later and you're like, "Huh. Okay, well, readjust. It's on paper. This is doable." And then something else weird happens, or it just takes longer because maybe
stuff gets in the way.
I've read a number of books about oh, this is what happened with this studio and this thing and these things, and all I ever learned was it doesn't matter how many times you've made a game, you still don't know how long it's going to take to make your game.
And what's nice also is that we've heard about sometimes other games, sort of famously delayed games like Duke Nukem Forever or some stuff like that, where part of the problem is that they're building this game and it's sort of ostensibly going to be sort of a super advanced, super technology. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to have all this stuff, but it takes so long to build it that the technology moves on, and so suddenly you're sort of 3/4 of the way finished and you have to change engines because now the engine that you're using is woefully out of date, and you have to basically rewrite half the game, or you have to redo all the assets because now it's got to be 4K, whereas before it wasn't, all this kind of stuff. Whereas then, the nice thing about doing a game like Silksong or whatever is that it's, fundamentally, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a very similar engine, if not the same engine.
But it's also 2D.
Right,
yeah. Which has a huge impact as well.
And it's sort of a known quantity. It's not like people are expecting Silksong to be some amazing graphical powerhouse. It'll be a really neat, really nice looking game, really beautiful with really nice animations. Mm-hmm. But it isn't probably not going to be, one of those games that your Steam Deck heats up for.
Yeah, the power on it will probably last longer. That's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I see sometimes people say things like, "Oh, this person clearly didn't have a plan," or this or whatever. And it's true. Sometimes people say things without planning or without thinking. Mm-hmm. That's not that doesn't happen, but more often than not, people have some kind of plan usually, and things happen or don't, or trying to gauge time is not precise.
Yeah, it's
and
we certainly have.
And sometimes plans just don't always work out.
Yeah, and we certainly have had various ideas for things that we thought would be cool to do that didn't happen for whatever reason. Most of those we don't talk about until we're more certain that they're going to happen. But we've talked.
We try because it's nicer to not have to tell people over and over, "Hey, this isn't working."
Yeah, but that's certainly something that happens all the time. It's and something that you have to take into account when you're doing this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, more power to them. I hope that Silksong is equally, if not more successful, so that they can then spend some more time doing something else cool.
It sounds like they're going to keep making stuff to add on to it, like they did with Hollow Knight.
Right.
And that's kind of the interpretation I've always had about a lot of games and any kind of creative thing that you're working on is sometimes if you've been at it for so long, you just want it to be done. Because there are parts that are maybe not fun to do, like when you're knitting, like threading in your yarn ends kind of sucks. Like,
and
you just want it to be over.
Yeah, and knowing when that, like, yeah, you can imagine that there's things that they want to have in there that they're like, let's say that for a DLC or whatever. Like, we could wait another 2 years, or we could just release this now. It's a good game. It's a full game. It's a complete game. But then we can do extra stuff.
Yeah, so I was always kind of under the impression that it's like, well, it's been this long. They must be sick of making this game by now, because all you ever hear about game dev stories, especially stuff that's been delayed or seem to be taking longer than is always kind of the crunch that people are under, and this thing that we couldn't figure out but we had to get in, or all the cuts we had to make. And it just sounds like they're having a good time and they want to just keep making. And I'm like, okay, well, go for it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just also nice to read something positive in 2025 about the development of a game.
Yeah.
As a treat. Can I get more of those?
Yeah.
Please.
The games industry is falling apart, but these 3 people anyway are okay. Anyway, that's all the news we had to talk about. That is all the video game news that we want to talk about this week. But if you haven't seen this week's episode of ChillPoint, you should do that because it's very funny. And they talk more about all these various things, as well as the Silk Song stuff in the after show. Mm-hmm. You can check it out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/LRRVG. Or if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, it is probably being recommended to you next. Or soon, or it is like somewhere around this video. But in any case, thanks for watching, and we will talk to all y'all later. Bye.